Reformatting your camera.
For this, we should go to the menu. Just click here, and this we can see the suitcase here. Everyone can see. In the suitcase, we should go to the word here written format. Just click this.
It will be different on 6500 as the 6600.
But in the suitcase sector.
Somewhere in the suitcase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone find?
Yeah, we can't see anything.
You can't see anything because it's not formatted. How do we get around that? They can't see anything because it's not formatted correctly.
How?
This one here. No, this one here. Oh. So it's a card that's been formatted in the wrong camera.
No, the recording was another movie settings. Maybe.
Maybe
Yes.
NTSC or PAL. That
Yes.
type of thing.
Yes.
But still, they can't access the suitcase.
Yeah, we have to, I think we have to format it right now. Maybe go.
Deleted that. Чтобы delete. In order to delete.
This is a big puzzle.
So we go to format in order to delete the
Yes,
last.
yes. Go to format and press yes, and it'll ask you 2 or 3 different times. Are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah. It's a safety mechanism because.
Camera has some problems with believing, right?
No, it's not a trust issue.
Trust issue.
It's not a trust
I
issue.
see a trust issue.
Yeah, it's not that anybody's fooled it before. It's permanent. When you erase, it's for keeps.
That's in data.
Maybe slot is not working because we
You think
changed
the
the
camera
card.
itself? You tried with another card?
Yes.
Because that same card is working on another camera.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's retire that camera and give it to me, and I'll make sure that they understand there's a problem.
Хороший вопрос. Замечательно. Я надеюсь, ты сказала готово.
So you've reformatted the card in another camera, and it still doesn't work. Because it needs to be reformatted in the same model camera. It has to be reformatted in the same model. Is this the one in question?
Yes.
And where did you reformat the card? In another camera?
It was reformatted before. Nothing is here. It was reformatted. It's working in other cameras, but the slot is not working.
The slot is not working. Okay. So
Just
should we?
use without SD card.
Okay, so they can actually see the menus and everything, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, let's continue then.
After everybody have done, yes? This
All
formatting.
reformatted?
After that, for this button here to shoot like round. This one.
That's the shoot.
From any settings we can come back very fast with this button. If we doing something from here and just click this, we'll come back. Yes.
And
it does focus.
it's also focusing.
Yes.
Yes, and
It's a good button to know.
Yes.
here we have the some settings. Here is the how much time we have for the recording. 40 minutes. It's going in the 4K 24 frame per second. And here is the bit rate of the recording 100. And here is percentage of the battery and the focus area and the white balance here and the lighting and some other settings here.
Let's make sure that everybody knows what we're talking about. What is white balance?
Yes, we will do one by one.
We'll go one by one. Okay.
First of all, we should go to this button FN
If
here.
you don't see the display like this, please push the button display to see all the data.
Yes,
FN.
this FN.
Display to see all the data. Switch
Что
display
ты там
button.
нажимаешь?
Display button.
Все, спасибо.
Why don't you
Go
all
to
come
the
inside
movie
here?
mode
You're
and
too far.
press display button.
You can't see this, but you can't see that and the camera. You need to be a team, okay?
They are sitting there.
I know.
Как ты дисплей нажимаешь?
Mana display yozilgan. Display bossiz nastroykalar chiqib keladi.
Прям да, устumi?
You could
Hammasi
repeat
chiqadi,
this.
nima qanaqa qildi.
You could repeat it? Have you got your
А,
hands
там
on the
несколько
camera and done this
harflarni
thing?
chiqadi.
O'sha hammasi chiqqandan keyin to'xtatsangiz ko'rasiz nima nastroyka turgan kamerani. After that we should go
Alright, listen up.
After that we should go to here FN button to see some settings here. We can focus mode here after or manual one. You can
It will be
choose.
different function in your cameras because it's a custom adjustment.
Yes.
Custom
The
adjustment.
menu, yes.
Customizable.
But why does it matter to know whether it's automatic focus or manual focus?
When it goes some actions during people, you can just put some point your focus in the manual one, and you cannot like
Right, if you want to maintain bokeh without it automatically focusing on the background or on the foreground,
yes,
then you have to have it on manual. Automatic, you may use automatic in times where you're doing, I would call run and gun. You're shooting something documentary style. You want to make sure you don't have to always be riding the focus. That's when you want automatic focus. But then there are times where you don't want auto.
And also you can adjust automatic focus where camera you want to be focused automatically. So some sort of center or to the right side, or you can select some zone when he will be focusing on that automatically also.
Yeah. Typically, I keep it on center.
Yes.
Because that's where the center of activity is.
and the first main thing for the white balance, you should maybe your camera in like this auto white balance or something else. We should put the written like K. We can see, and for the standard is 5600 Kelvin.
And who remembers what is that for? Daylight. White. Daylight. Yeah.
We can change like this up and down from wheel there, up and down.
Let's talk for a minute about, could you show us the settings, white balance, manual, auto, and so on? So, all right, auto white balance. When would you use auto white balance? I would use it about the same time I would use autofocus. If I'm doing run and gun, and if I'm doing documentary style and I'm moving around, I want to, if I'm going inside and outside in one long shot, auto white balance. Manual white balance. Let's see what the different settings are. You get you'll have daylight and tungsten and those symbols. Yeah, there you go. So auto white balance, we know what that's for. The little sunburst, that's of course daylight. Color balance is what? 5600K. The next one, the shade, is kind of, it's going to, it doesn't affect it hugely, but sometimes the blues are a little different. Cloudy. The ones that I really pay attention to are the light bulb. What would that be?
For all kind of lamps.
Tungsten style, and 3200K. Okay. If go back to the light bulb. If you are, let's talk about a very specific time of day, because this is something I want you to know this by heart. If you're at about 4 o'clock and it's still daylight, white daylight, could you set it, please, Abraham, for the sun, daylight? That's where you would have it at around 4 o'clock, any time of day. After this time, you would keep it until the sun starts really setting golden, beautiful golden light. Keep it on daylight, because then you'll see the difference between the sky and so on, and the color of the daylight. When it gets to be that mixed time, when you have some street lights coming on, or some tungsten lights showing through the windows of houses, but what's happening to the sky? It's getting twilight. What color becomes twilight? Blue. Very blue. Even what I would call indigo blue. That's a very beautiful blue. Then, could you please set it to tungsten? This is what I do. At that point, I set it to tungsten because, did you see what happened? In fact, go back one square to cloud. Look at the blue here. Or actually go to the tungsten. The daylight, daylight, okay. And then when you switch it to tungsten, watch what happens. Did you see the blue go even bluer? That's what will kick it into that indigo blue. And where your tungsten lights, your street lights, the headlights and so on will have its own yellow color. All right? So that's the time of day where you really want to keep an eye on these settings. Okay.
Can I tell one thing? Yeah. You can, whenever you are, it doesn't matter, you can go to the custom setup, press the button custom setup.
Does he need to show that on this?
Yeah. You can just go to the custom board. You don't have that. The custom one. And you can just go take a white point, maybe white paper, white something, white paper.
This is
And you can adjust your white balance by pressing like this, and it will be perfect. It says
you can see
5700.
You normally
like
would
that.
fill the screen with that, right?
Yes, not the screen, but the point. It has the point. Let me show you again. Set. Yes. Maybe some of you have another set, like it says set. Or we can go to the menu like
Doesn't
whenever.
matter 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Or you can have another one without the number, just set. You can go set.
I have set.
Yes, choose set. Press the button. Can you see the round sync on the center? In the center.
We
Just
don't
a
see it here.
Just a second.
If you remove the
There you go.
Yes, you have to point white sync. Press the button, and it will take a photo of this and correct white balance for you.
So you can have 3 different standard white balances, huh? You can have one
Yes.
for interior, one for daylight.
Yes.
Something else.
Whenever you are, just have some white sync, or you can use the cap, Sony cap, but it's not accurate as the white paper. You can have white paper and just set up your white balance perfectly. Whenever you are and what time of the day, it doesn't matter.
Very nice. I'm glad we've got 2 camera
Because
geniuses.
I think white is mirrors coming light very well. Yes.
What? Say that again.
White paper mirrors the coming light very well. That's why.
Yes.
Yes,
As long
white
as the
paper.
source is being reflected.
What kind of source it coming and which setting we should put.
It says
Yeah.
white balance, so you have to have white sync to perfectly balance the whites.
Yeah.
Not the whole picture, the whites. Major thing is the white colors to perfectly balance.
Got it. Okay. Everybody okay? Shall we move on?
We put the light balance here, and then first thing is we should put the camera settings, recording settings as well. For
File format. Now,
yes,
what
file
is this?
format. If you want to record 4K or HDA, we can choose from
And
here.
what shall we recommend to the students?
It
HD
depends.
is sufficient for projects, for
Yes.
student
On a
projects.
purpose, I'm actually.
Yes.
You can crop it for. You can record on 4K and crop it to the HD, so you can more flexibility.
Yes.
Now, what it does affect is your editing later.
Yes.
Yes.
If you're editing on CapCut, you're just burdened to the phone.
You can also just crop it to the HD, and you can just bring it out, zoom it, and you will. If you zoom it correctly, I think it's 1.6 zoom on 66 cameras, and you will have from 4K to 100.
You will not lose the quality.
You will not
But
lose the
does it
quality.
increase the file size to
Yes,
have it
it
on
will.
4K? So
4K is
editing wise, it might affect you. If you're on Premiere, I don't
Yes,
think it makes a
it's
difference.
no problem with the Premiere, but if
But
you
CapCut-
edit with
CapCut, you
phone,
might be overburdened to shoot.
yes.
So did you hear this? If you're planning on editing CapCut, probably avoid 4K shooting. If you're going to edit on Premiere, which a lot of you know already, then it gives you more flexibility actually.
Or if you have, I don't know, big memory, you can shoot in 4K and do editing CapCut if you have a large memory. It's better to shoot 4K if you have some big projects, so you can crop something and it will not lose quality. But in HD, it will lose quality to much lower, SD for example. If you edit 4K and crop it, zoom it somewhere, it will lose to HD, from HD to SD, and etc.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm showing my age here, but I have never shot a project in 4K.
Never.
I always shoot in HD. All of my tourism films that I shoot when I'm traveling, I shoot in HD. And one day I may really regret, oh, I wish that was in 4K.
But all social media like TikTok and Instagram only support HD. So you can freely go to HD and record in HD. But YouTube can make it's unlimited. I think up to 8K can
8K,
upload.
wow.
Yes. But Instagram, TikTok only HD
So
maximum.
since we are teaching here film and television production, I do recommend that you shoot it, well, I always say horizontal, not vertical, because no film or television is going to be using vertical. And perhaps if you can shoot 4K, you may, there's not really a downside, except it might be a little more cumbersome in editing, maybe.
Yes.
All right, Abraham, it's all yours again.
And 4K is very suitable, and for frame per second is 30 is good for the social medias. We can record 4K in a 30 frame per second, and in the editing we put full HD 30 frame per second, and it will get very good quality in the social media apps.
I see. So you could
Because
shoot it.
when we put or render in the 4K, social medias increase the quality, decrease.
Decrease the quality.
Decrease.
They automatically decrease
Decrease,
the quality,
sorry.
and it will be much worse than
Yes.
HD.
Much worse than that.
Yeah, you have to go on a limit and put it on HD for better quality in social media, so the viewers can see what you see in HD, what you see on a computer.
Well, let's get back to the frame rate, because you still have it set on 24.
Yes, here is the frame rate is 24 because we should change the NTSC, because we also need 24 or 30 somewhere, but in the some points we need 50 or another frame per
All right,
second.
well, I'm confused, and I'm sure they are too.
Okay.
So what should we choose, and for what reasons?
For the social media, we just choose this one, 30p with the This one.
30p?
yes.
But it's not highlighted. What's highlighted is the 24. Oh,
No, it's
now,
highlighted.
I see.
And 4K.
Okay, now, when we were watching Eric Thane, he's always recommending 24p to look cinematic.
Yes.
Yeah, for the cinema, 24p it's a standard.
Yes.
24p is standard.
Because person I also sees in the 24.
Yeah,
Frame
for
rate.
And the way film used to look at
Yes.
it was 24. But if you shot it in 24p, is it going to cause problems somewhere else? In social
but
media?
social media requires is a full HD 30
30 frames.
frame rates.
But what does is your bitrate when you're editing. You can have a normal frame rate, 24 per second, and higher bitrate to look good in social media.
So you can adjust it later.
No, not the frame rate, not the P1. You can adjust the bit rate, the information that speed of the information. It's like a Wi-Fi. How many megabytes you can upload or download. If you go higher, you can have a normal quality in 24 frames per second. Like it will seems like 30 frames in your phone. It will feels like.
Feels like.
Yes. Depends on what you're shooting in 4K. And in you can just Google it. Another for any FPS and any
Okay.
quality in FPS, you can just Google it. The perfect settings for uploading in Instagram and social media, and it will show.
Now I have, Ibrahim, both you guys, I have a professional consultation question because I am hitting a problem now in my edit. And Ibrahim, you know a little bit about my film that I've been shooting over 10 years. It turns out some of it's shot in 24, some of it's shot in 30, and some even in 60.
It's a bit trouble
It's a little bit of a trouble, and one of the things that I'm noticing is I get a kind of a jump in some of my shots.
because your sequence and the video is not much.
Right.
Because as you said, some are 24, some are 30. That's
But
why.
I understand that there is some setting in our editing that's called match
Match
something.
source.
Match frame rate.
When you're exporting file to the Premiere Pro, right?
Uh-huh.
It will match the sequence on the file, just on the file, based on the file, not
Yes.
the whole picture.
Match
Just
source.
based on one file.
So when I export it, I should have it on match frame rate.
No,
No.
you have to put it in menu because you said you have 30 FPS and 60 FPS. And
In the
when
same
you're
timeline.
in the same timeline. It's a trouble when you're exporting and seeing the feature that you're telling, and it will change if you export the 60 FPS file. It will change sequence only to 60 FPS. It's not adjustable for all FPS, just for one, just for 60.
I might need to have you guys sit with me and show me exactly how to export because this is my production, this would be my final production, and I don't really want that jumpiness on any shots. How to avoid it, I don't know. Am I already too late after I've edited a whole sequence?
You can fix it.
Do you still have a file, project file?
Yeah.
With all
You
you
can
can
like,
yes.
yeah, you can.
You can change the sequence settings to the just 24. I think it will be better to have 24 and
And
just
at
set the
the-
speed of it.
At the render, you mean you put the settings in much frame rate?
No.
Forgive me guys, I'm
Parallel stop.
detouring your
Parallel
tutorial for a minute to get professional
От
consultation
мужчины,
for free.
чем делать урок
Actually, I'll probably hire these guys.
It's
Maybe
better
become
to
this-
decrease the 60 FPS to 24 than 24 to higher up to 60 FPS. So you will have to put in 24 frames per second as much as load that you have, or a standard for a movie, 24 frames per second, and adjust other clips that are much higher FPS to that 24.
Now, in consideration of our students who have interrupted the tutorial, I might hire you guys to come and sit with me and show me the setting. I'm very much of a show me learner, like most of you, I think. So let's get back to showing them, okay?
Okay.
I haven't learned all these things because when I search on YouTube, there is no.
Practice.
Practice.
You do something, you get in trouble, and you search
Yes.
for the answer. That's how it
It
goes.
takes time.
Yes, it takes
When you're troubled,
It's the old
you get
joke,
solutions.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice.
Mistakes make you better.
Yeah. That's good. All right, so.
And for the lights, artificial light, we have here written ISO.
Good.
We can add some more or decrease.
It's how much the sensor feels the light. If it's higher, more than 2 ISO, it will noisy. It grainy on the
Grainy.
picture. So it will be better to keep ISO lower as much as possible to get a clear picture.
Yes.
And let's give them a number to kind of remember. When it
Standard is about 800 or this 640.
and when you get too much higher than that, like 1,000,
If
2,000.
even if image is looking very bright, you can decrease.
You can decrease.
This is the use of ISO. There's a couple of different ways to change your brightness. One is the f-stop, and the f-stop is where you see 3.5, 5.6, 8, 11, 16, 22.
It's artificial intelligence. That's why if you increase this, it will give noise to your image.
Yeah,
It
since
gives-
the sensor will lose
yes.
information.
Yes.
So if you are in trouble and you don't know what ISOs do you use which one is darker, because in dark places there's much more information than in bright places.
If you get more bright image, you should put light, key light or backlight, something, but not increase the ISO
Yes.
higher.
If you have dark image, you have to get some source of light, because if you go up to I think in 66 up to 1000 ISO, it will be grainy. So 1000 ISO is just not official, but some kind of limit when it will be grainy after 1000 and more. It will be grainy a bit, and it will be much more grainier. As far as
To avoid getting confusing here, certain cameras, very more sophisticated cameras,
yes.
can handle higher ISOs.
For example, A7 3S
A7.
S camera, it's a full frame camera. It has much larger sensor, so it will
2000's okay.
2000, 4000 even okay for this
4,000.
camera. 4000.
And on the on the FX5, FX6, I think even 20,000. They can see like
No.
an owl or like
They
a
have
cat.
double ISO, so you can
Hello.
record the data two
Alaikum
times.
salam,
In,
how are you?
for example, 1000 ISO you can record two times, but it
Şunu
will
yazalım,
be as
derste.
bright as 2000 ISO. It will record in just two ways.
Are we getting too deep?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's take an average here.
So I got the
So-
question.
Yes, yes.
So here's the question. So we are shooting in video mode or getting picture?
It's video mode. We're only talking about video mode.
Okay, on the video mode we.
That's the little movie frame symbol on the ring.
Yeah, I got it, but it doesn't matter to how to use the ICO because we should set up the lights. After the lights, we can set up our ICO either if we go to shot images, for example, pictures and professional pictures, we can integrate into after mode. In the
If you're shooting photos.
yes.
But since for film and television class, we're concentrating on video mode.
One video.
Yeah.
In photos, it's not much as needed to go ISO to limits, because in post production, in edit, you can easily remove the noise
Yeah.
for photos, but for videos,
It's
it's kind of a
burdensome.
trouble.
It's trouble.
Big trouble if you have a noisy picture.
All right, so let's continue on and we'll try to not get too bogged down in details. Because we have 10 more minutes, Ibrahim. So let's see what we can get done in 10 minutes.
Okay, here main setting of other of the camera is aperture. Here is written F. Aperture means how it blur your background without any area without in the focus, how much it will be in the blur.
So do you hear this for bokeh? And which number should you go toward if you want bokeh?
For the cinematic shots, you need much lower. If 1.2 here is GM master lens for the Sony's.
Whatever
But
you have on these cameras.
Here is 2.8. 2.8 is
2.8.
also not much to get very cinematic bokehs and image. Here, this lens is 4 aperture, but we cannot get as much we want.
Not so much bokeh.
Yes.
You can change the focal length, so you can put the subject as fast as you can and just zooming in, decrease the focal length, it will be blurry.
Please hear this. Please do hear this because we're going to talk a lot about bokeh. And because that's really beautiful and preferable when you can get it. It does, as he says, you need to be zoomed in, full telephoto, to get the best bokeh. The trick is, if you have a shot that has a lot of people, if I want to get everybody here, I'm not going to get much bokeh because I have to have it on wide angle. And wide angle, you're not going to see much bokeh. So you get it when you can, when the circumstance is right. Okay.
And here is the shutter. You can see 1 slash and numbers.
And where should we ever change shutter? Should we change shutter or not?
Yes, when we put the frame rate, as in the cinemas also they use, if they use 25 frame rate, they put double 50
50.
shutter.
Then you would do a 50 of a second.
Yes, when we shooting in the 60 frame per second, we shoot to 120 shutter.
120.
If you go further, your image will look so sharp, and it will not comfortable for eyes to look at them.
Yeah. So standard is actually, let's just say 30 may be the standard for us.
No. 30 is too like jumping,
Too
as you
blurry,
said.
it will be,
Too
too
blurry.
blurry motions.
Yes.
You can just go to YouTube and search for shutter speed.
The little
visual, yes.
is the less one is 50. We
But,
can put,
I'm
but
not-
40
I'm
and
not
30 is going not sharp.
So I'm not sure that I really heard what is the frame rate that we should choose for our shoots? 24
Yes.
or 24?
For cinema for film movie 24, 25.
All right. So let's use that as our standard. For
Double.
When you see frame rate, 24, 25. That means shutter speed should
50.
be double that,
50.
50. Okay. Got it?
А как вы, мам, F коmis?
F
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking.
No, I'm asking
from any button, any,
Нет,
it depends the model of the
Actually
camera.
doesn't change.
Да, я
Unless I change it
bundan
to
kısam.
manual. I mean, right here. It was here on the film.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't change when it's on.
Geçen F yoktu ne yaptı?
But this is where it'll always be for your shooting video.
Yeah, but the focal length is not changing. As you can see. Like,
You mean the F
oh,
stop?
no, actually.
Yeah, it
But
does.
it's not, it doesn't,
Because probably your exposure, your F, yeah.
okay. Let's try. Exposure was
This would be the FN.
FN.
Manual yotkuzliklar rучной.
Focus.
Авто да всяка
And you want
ракета
it to remain on manual mode, not auto.
Yeah, the same.
So it needs to be on manual.
No, I think you're right about the exposure being, yeah, it's 0 to
Here is B, we should go.
that's why it's not.
Yeah.
You can see the motions on different kind of shutter. You see how
Yeah, a
there's
little bit of
less
blur.
blur,
Yep.
less blur here and more blue here.
Got it, got it. So what was the verdict? What are
So
the
the
settings?
exposure mode wasn't right.
Yeah.
Exposure should be
In
Manual.
manual,
Yeah.
always manual.
Yeah.
Switching modes.
Mine was in S, so it should be.
As well as focus mode should always also be in manual for both. Okay, moving on.
So we turn
We have about 5 minutes left.
By the way, we get all some base settings here, and for more we can get here from the picture profile, from the camera 1 setting. We can change some color effects here
Okay?
from the picture profile or the picture effect. You can see.
I've never even touched these things. So,
If you don't shoot in a log, you won't get colors from right during the recording.
so
You should
where
choose-
should it be set?
Is it like filters?
Just like filters, like
Like
color
LUT,
spaces.
LUT space.
Yes, like LUTs.
So picture effect, where should we leave picture effect? Off.
Off, or just if you need some effect from here, you can choose.
I would prefer, since we get somebody else's settings, I would prefer that we keep them off.
Yes.
So that other people don't get stuck with a filter they didn't want.
And the picture
Like
profile
after
also.
We can edit
ICO.
after you can edit it just fine.
It's better to.
I'd rather you go to Lumetri in Premiere and do your
Then
color
edit
correction
it.
there. Yeah.
If you want shoot in a log with the decreasing the colors in the image and color after editing, you should go to the from camera one from picture profile settings. You should go just any pp. They are like a custom folders. You want to put yours.
Not everyone have the PP mode in function menu, so you can go to menu, the first section and 11th, I think, list.
Yes,
So
the
that
first
11th
camera and
profile picture. First explain what is S-Log. S-Logs, you don't need S-Logs now, it's very advanced level, so you have to record on standard.
yes.
Now, we might be getting into TMI right
Yes,
now.
that's
This is-
going in a like
This is so much, is anybody able to absorb that kind of detail right now? A few of you do. Okay, that's good, that's good. Then it's not a problem.
instead of log you can just go here. You can see standard putting.
No, it's a creative, it's another thing, it's not
Creative style.
Creative style, yes. You have to off the profile picture mode in your level now. It's just a filter, some kind of creative style.
But it is gonna be recorded in that, and
In
you,
that,
and
yes.
you then have to change it later if you want to.
And the standard also you can add some contrast, saturation, and sharpness as well.
I would like to ask though, that people keep those off. When you turn off your camera, when you hand it back, set it to off, so it doesn't confuse people later, the next person, okay? Fair
I
enough?
think all of that
Yeah.
can be done in post-production, right? I
But
mean,
there is
so-
no off.
contrast,
There is only
sharp.
standard.
Well, here's the problem. You use one camera that's set with somebody else's color filter today,
No, I
and
got your
tomorrow,
point.
and then I'm trying to match my shots and they won't match. So we want to keep it as standard as we can. It's a lot of things to remember if we get deep into the weeds, so to speak, with some of these settings. I really would like them to know what should be standard, so that if they get the next camera the next day, they can return to that standard and get the same color.
You have to go to 11th page, first shooting mode, 11th page. You have to check 11. Profile picture, creative style. You have to put in standard, and to check these settings, you have to put in 0, all of them, and you have to check profile picture and turn it off. So you will not have a slow format, any other formats. Just turn it off.
If you simply turn it off, it goes to default, correct?
Yes, standard.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
This is
So, do we have any questions? We're really kind of getting to the end of our session
How
here.
to remember all of this?
What?
How to remember all of this?
Okay, can you explain to them how they remember all of this?
Practice,
Practice, practice, practice. Okay, so,
What does like MF and it's
Ah.
like after menu.
after main focus. So you put it in IF and to MF, and it will
It's
go.
continuous autofocus, and here is the manual one. If you put the manual, we can see the pickings here. Where is the focus now?
Not
If
every
we
camera have on pickings, so you have to go to the menu and turn it on.
and just, I want to give, just very general, once again, I've said this before, when you have a choice between auto and manual, auto, it could be auto focus, auto white balance, auto exposure. If you are shooting documentary style where you don't have time to check the balance, check this and that, leave it on auto. But if you're shooting more cinematography style, you probably want more control of things.
That's why we should choose
Manual,
and
then you
then
choose. Huh?
work on it.
And pay attention to the focus, needs to be sharp focus and so on.
So one question, but to them.
Okay.
Where do you okay? Where do you learn all of this just basic things? Is it on YouTube
okay.
or
You can search for it on YouTube.
on YouTube?
Yes.
You can find
The
it.
basic thing.
That's it. Because in this
How to put
lesson,
shutter, how to put
Yeah.
ISO, how to change
in this
aperture
lesson,
like
I
this.
learned only how to on off the camera. So that's
Yes, never mind about this because it's not like economist or just another like field developing from ancient because cameras produced not even more than 100 years.
Yeah.
There is no standards to learn how to because in the many thousand years ago also 1 + 1 is 2 like this kind of standards because cameras produced not even much 100 years. That's why there is no standards. You can
Yeah.
learn by the way.
And by practice.
Great.
By
All right,
practice.
so
Never mind
friends,
about this.
friends,
It takes so much time.
let's give a big round of applause to our teachers, both of them. Now listen,
Again, I will show.
quiet. We're going to do one more time just as a rehearsal to get it on record here. So shh, shh, shh. Thank you, Ibrahim, for showing us how to go from 0 if you've never used this before.
Done, and we will turn on the camera right here.
So turning on the camera.
yeah, we can.
Tell us when you're done.
If it shows like this, you should just okay because the previous videos recorded in the another movie settings. That's why it
What does it
asks you
say?
to
I don't really read it. What does it say?
cannot record in the recording settings because it's previous videos record in the another movie settings.
Ah, so this
That's
is
why
called.
it's
This is
asking
about
for the format,
formatting.
formatting the
Maybe
card.
that's the very first step we need to take. Then.
Yes.
Okay. You're going to learn about formatting.
But when you're shooting and it will comes in the middle of your shooting, you should just turn off the camera and take off the SD card and put the laptop and get the files as neat as fast.
Yeah, I think the important thing to know about formatting is it is going to erase everything that's on the card. Everything. So whoever used it before you, it's still on there. Now it's going to be erased. And formatting does more than erase. It gets it ready for that model of camera. So that's why you format. But what he just said is if you shot something one day on one of your cards, don't just pop it into the second camera and pick up where you left off, because you'll either lose what was on the previous day's shoot, or you won't be able to shoot on the second day shoot. So always use a new card. That's the message.
Or just format when you put first.
You need
The-
first to copy
Yes.
the files and then delete it from camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're gonna have to reformat,
if you don't need, you should just format it.
But usually,
I think you get the picture here. If you shot something one day, download it
instantly.
instantly, and then the next day you do whatever your camera you get. You're gonna again reformat the cards.
And here is the tripod. We have it in the equipment base also. It's Manfrotto, made in Italy. A very good model. And you should here plate.
Watch the screen here. It's tricky.
Can we ask you to say what?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Everything is clear with
Да,
Manfrotto?
теперь да.
Here is the plate for put the camera. Here written you can see lens. Camera lens should be in this direction, not like this or another, like this should be. Lens should be there when you're putting the plate. And here is the base plate. Just this left side you should put first, and the right side.
Think of when you put on your shoe. You have to put the toe in first and
Yes.
then the heel. Right?
After that, you should just scroll this.
And when tightening any of these things, whether it's on the camera, the tripod, or the lights, hand tight is enough. You don't have to use pliers, and you don't want to make it so tight.
Yes, you can just use coins or something to tight
Yeah.
more harder.
Yeah.
And there is two scrolling buttons here to the panoramic view here. You should just tight out to get smooth, or just
These tripods are called fluid head tripods.
yes.
And they have, inside of them, they have these little liquid chambers with oil. And when you're doing what he just showed you, tightening one direction at a time. Again, you don't want to tighten it so hard. And when you have to move gently your camera, just make sure that it's almost just snug, but not so tight that you can't move it. Can you demonstrate that? How tight do you make it so that you can move it, and at what point is it too tight for you to move?
And here the another one to get up and down
Tilt, yeah.
tilt axis. Yes.
And you see how it kind of continues to move on its own? That's that fluid that's inside the chamber. It's actually, it's called dampening it. And it allows you to come to a smooth stop and a smooth start on all of your moves. Well, this is a bonus. I didn't know we were actually going to get tripod lessons too, but this is great. Very nice. You're a good teacher.
Okay. And for the general buttons of the camera is turn on and off here. And for this, by the way, you can
Listen up.
change this also, the handle, for any position you want.
And what position is like a standard?
Standard is like this.
Yeah, kind of at a diagonal.
Diagonal, yes. And for the more smooth or a hard positions, just a second.
Sometimes your camera's up high on a tripod, sometimes it's very down low, and you can change the handle.
I think it's broken up.
You say worn out?
This one is also to get like this panoramic view.
Is that handle not solid? Is it? By the way, if you ever have trouble with any of the equipment, tripods, lights, cameras, or anything, if you notice that something's broken, really not working, please report it to the cage when you return it. They won't blame you for it, they won't make you liable for it, but they need to know so that they need to not hand it out to the next person being broken.
We're actually having a little bit of problem with the video card. It can't read it.
You cannot read it up.
Even though we tried like
We haven't formatted it
different.
yet.
Ah.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we're moving on to formatting soon, huh? We have one.
Just put here, or we can use this one as well.
So are the threads broken on that one? Somebody probably tried turning it too hard.
Yes. Problem is here.
Oh, it's inside.
Inside, yes.
All right, are you all getting pretty comfortable? You don't have tripods in front of you right now, but one day you will. You will, yeah. We have plenty of tripods. Well, we have one tripod for every camera, that's the truth.
First of all,
All right, listen up now, moving on here. Are we going to do formatting next? Okay. This is what you all need to know.
here after we turn down the camera, here is the movie settings. Here is the for movies, and this is smooth and quick for the
Slow motion and
yes, of course,
time lapse.
for the
Slow and
motion.
quick, S and Q, yeah?
Yes,
Slow and quick.
like here synchronic, I think it's some templates here inside, and here is the auto.
Now, why do we not use auto instead of movie?
Instead of what?
Movie, the movie symbol, the one that looks like a movie frame, you know, with little sprockets. That's what you're going to use for video.
Actually, I put to the movie to record the video, and I choose the manual. I put the shutter ISO by myself. Especially I did
we'll
like
get
this.
into that in a minute, right?
Yes.
But for shooting video, which is what we're really concentrating on now, we're not necessarily covering photography in this course.
I'm not similar all of these functions, but for the videos I use this one, and for the pictures I use auto and M.
It's the sort of the funny thing that's happened in the last, maybe 10 or 15 years. The very same camera, it can be used for really nice video or really nice photography. Used to be different cameras, now they're the same. And the difference, as he just said, you don't necessarily need to pay attention to all of the settings at the top. Mostly just the movie frame, set that on for video on movie frame. And if you're shooting slow-mo, which may happen for you, slow-mo or time-lapse, then it would be the S and Q, slow and quick. Okay. All right.
And these buttons here with the C letter is like them are custom buttons. You can put any function to them. Here also C1, C2, C4.
This is a little bit beyond where you are right now. This would be for customizing certain settings,
Yes.
which is a useful thing. And we'll get into that maybe later.
And here some slots for the camera.
Yeah,
Is
these
it
you'll need
visible?
to know too. On the left side, it's the
Here is written very little. Here is the micro USB for the charging. If you're not charging for the charging plate for the battery, you can charge directly from here. And here is the HDMI, micro HDMI.
which is what he's using right now to send it onto the screen.
Yes, for the more professional like these cameras, here is like standard HDMI, but for the a bit little cameras has a micro HDMI like this.
Which would allow you to do exactly what you're doing now, right? Which is to
Yes,
broadcast.
if
it
you
on the
want to
screen.
connect like this Wi-Fi transmitters here, you should get this kind of cable.
And
This
let's talk
HDMI
about
to
what-
the micro HDMI.
when might that be a useful thing? I have one suggestion. I've never actually done it with this configuration, but if you wanted to have a big screen like a laptop as your monitor, instead of counting on the little tiny screen like that, you could plug an HDMI into your laptop
Yes.
and view what you're actually seeing. It is really helpful, especially when you get to be about my age or anywhere over 40 years old, because those little screens are just really hard to really see focus. But if you can project it to a laptop, it's perfect, right? Do you ever do that? You ever have a laptop as a viewing monitor?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Did many times.
Many times, because he's professional. I spent $4,000 for a monitor that before there were such things as laptops with HDMI, and we have it now in the equipment
For
page.
this Holy Land, here is a feature one. You don't need buy for not 4,000 or any other dollars. Here is the application, Holy View.
It transmits
This.
to the phone.
Yes, this Holy View application. You don't need receiver. You just need a transmitter here. You put the camera, and here is button connect. You should just connect to the Wi-Fi. Here we can see.
This could allow the director
Yes.
or someone else.
HLD something. It's only one. It's only transmitter.
Only transmitter.
Yes,
And this is
the-
the receiver.
Yes, password is same 1 to 8.
It's good to get these things on record. You may not need these details for a little while. These are a little advanced things.
Disconnected to the Wi-Fi. We will go to the Holy View application, and you can see here also.
And I imagine you can do that again on a laptop or
And the
or
iPad.
iPad.
As well.
iPad's
I
probably.
use it like this to the director.
You give it to the director.
He or she can see what's going on.
So
And
this-
here also some functions
Histogram.
about peeking, histograms, zebras.
Wow. This is an advanced class already. We haven't even done formatting yet, but don't get overwhelmed.
It's not visible.
Pay attention.
You can use it to show it.
But I will request if we could move into formatting soon. That is so great. Histogram. Wow.
Sorry, can you show it
To camera.
Oh,
You need to
oh,
record.
in front of the camera.
Okay. So
Professor?
Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Oh.
let's go like this because
Nice effects too.
this application, Holy View, you should just first connect to the Wi-Fi, like written here, Holy Land something, and just go to the application. Maybe they put the rec button as well. You can record the footage to your phone as well.
So you're getting a double recording
Yes, double recording.
in HD.
I don't know. We can check. It's recorded here. Here you can see gallery, its own, and here the screenshot as well. With the
Screenshots. Wow.
yes,
Or your storyboard.
this old one.
Now, can it go to more than one screen? If you had your director having a tablet and maybe you have an assistant,
It's full HD. Yes.
it's full HD. And so, Ibrahim, can you have more than one device on that?
Switch to the another Wi-Fi transmitters, you mean?
Could a director have a tablet and an assistant have a tablet?
For this,
By the way, we're already well past break time.
you should change the Wi-Fi. You
You
should
would have
go.
to change it only
yes.
one at a time.
Yes.
One at a time. Okay, that answers that. Does anybody desperately need a break? Yes.
Too much information.
Ibrahim, let's wrap at this point and just put it on.